Singapore comes from the Malay language Singapura, Singapore. The word Singapore comes from the Sanskrit language Sinhapura, whose Bengali translation is Singapore. Politics takes place within the framework of a parliamentary republic. The Prime Minister of Singapore is the head of government. The country is largely dominated by one political party. The executive power of the country is vested in the government. The power to make laws lies with the government and the legislature. The judiciary is independent of the executive and the legislature. Members of the legislature are elected by popular vote. Although the president is the head of state, his role is largely rhetorical. However, the power of the president has recently increased. Since the 1959 election, Singaporean politics has been dominated by a political party called the People's Action Party. Although several opposition parties are present, it goes without saying that they are not represented in power. That is why many foreign observers view Singapore as a de facto one-party state. But Singapore's government has always been known abroad as a transparent, corruption-free government. According to Transparency International, Singapore has long been the most corrupt country in Asia. Administrative regions geography Singapore is a small and heavily urbanized island nation. It is located on the southernmost tip of the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia, between Malaysia and Indonesia. The total land area of Singapore is 699 square kilometers. Its coastline is 193 kilometers long. It is separated from Malaysia by the Johor Strait and from Indonesia by the Singapore Strait. The mainland of Singapore is a diamond-shaped island, but there are several other smaller islands within its administrative boundaries. The island of Pedra Branca is the farthest from Singapore. Among the dozens of smaller islands bordering Singapore, Jurong Island, Pulau Tekong, Pulau Ubin and Sentosa are significantly larger. Most of the island of Singapore is not more than 15 meters above sea level. The highest point in Singapore is Bukit Timah. It is a rock formed at a height of 184 meters above sea level. To the northwest of Singapore are small hills and valleys formed by sedimentary rocks, while the eastern part consists mainly of sandy plains. There are no natural lakes in Singapore, but artificial reservoirs have been built to supply potable water. The Singapore administration has been increasing the land area of the country by collecting soil from the seafloor, mountains and other countries. The area of the country was about 562 square kilometers in the 1980s. Now it is 699 square kilometers and by 2033 it will increase to 100 square kilometers. Climate Singapore is located just 1 degree north of the equator, so the climate is equatorial. Population The population of Singapore is about 5 million. Culture Although Singapore's culture is Western, it has Orthodox Hinduism, Orthodox Christianity, Orthodox Islamism, Malay culture, and Orthodox Buddhism, Chinese culture. Language Singapore has 4 official languages. These are English, Malay, Chinese Mandarin and Tamil. English is the common language here. English is also mainly used in business, education and government activities. About 60% of Singaporeans speak English, 75% Mandarin, 18% Malay and 4% Tamil. Malay was adopted as the national language by the Singaporean government in 1960 after gaining independence from Britain to avoid conflicts with Malay-speaking neighbors Malaysia and Indonesia. The national anthem of Singapore is also composed in Malay. Education Singapore's education system is largely state-run. At the same time, private initiatives and positions are also recognized there. However, before operating a non-government organization, it must be registered with the Ministry of Education. The education system here is English medium. In educational institutions, teaching and examinations are all conducted in English. Primary education is compulsory in Singapore. The education system in Singapore is governed by 3 levels: primary, secondary and pre-university. There are 6 public universities in Singapore, including the National University of Singapore and Nanyang University of Technology as one of the top 20 universities in the world. Singapore has a worldwide reputation for quality education. The country ranks 7th in the world in the Global Innovation Index, which is the highest in the Asian region. Tourism is one of the major industries in Singapore and contributes immensely to the country's economy. Millions of tourists visit Singapore every year. Night Safari Singapore Zoo, the world's first and only night safari. During the night safari, tourists travel by tram in the middle of the forest with various animals. Tigers, deer, bears, elephants, camels, crocodiles are some of the animals in this safari. In this safari, the animals roam freely. Marlayan Park. The marlin or lionfish is a symbol of Singaporean pride, a symbol of heroism. It is said that a long time ago, when Singapore was known as Temasek or the City of the Seas, a severe sea storm arose on the island. Just when the inhabitants surrendered their dreams to God, a lionfish-like beast came from the sea and fought against the storm and saved the inhabitants. And the lionfish named Marlin as a symbol of pride and heroism of Singaporeans. The statue of Marilyn is located in Marlayan Park, Marina Bay. Sentosa Island, a recreation center on a small island in the middle of the sea. Bird Park is one of the attractions of Singapore. There are many different kinds of birds, as well as a variety of sports and crafts performed by trained birds. There are different species of birds including vultures, storks, pelicans, pheasants. Economy. Before independence in 1975, Singapore was a crown colony under British rule. The island was the main British naval base in East Asia. Singapore was then called the Gibraltar of the East, because it was the main base of the British Navy. After the opening of the Suez Canal in 179, maritime trade between Europe and Asia increased, and Singapore began to be used as the world's major seaport. In 1975, the year of independence, the per capita income of this country was $518. This $518. The dollar was then the third highest in East Asia. After independence, Singapore's economy gradually began to strengthen with the influx of investment from Europe. In the mid-80s, the country gained the status of a developed state. Singapore ranks 9th in the world in the United Nations Human Development Index. Singapore is one of the founding members of ASEAN. Although it is equal in size to any urban area, its GDP is equivalent to the combined GDP of Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore in India. China, Malaysia and the European Union are the country's main trading partners. Demographic. Malay. Various dialects of Chinese, English and Tamil are jointly the official languages of Singapore. There are also about 20 other languages spoken here. Notable among these are Japanese, Korean, Malayalam, Punjabi and Thai. English plays the role of universal language or lingua franca. English is also used in international activities.